Tonight, on a very special episode of Clan of Critters, we welcome an 8-legged icon, a legend of the silken stage, a pioneer of Arthropod androgyny. Joining us all the way from Malaysia, via the Spider Shop in West Wales, it's the rock and roll renegade of the Cameron Highlands. Please put your hands together for David Bowie, the Heteropoda. Now, this is a spider I have wanted to add to the collection for such a long time. So when I seen the opportunity to get one, I just had to go for it. It's currently just in a temporary enclosure, so today we are going to give it a fancy new home. But in order to build it a new home, we need to know a little bit about the spider and what its care requirements are. Now, these spiders come from subtropical regions, so they likely don't require temperatures as high as some of your other species. A steady 18 to 20 degrees Celsius will do you absolutely fine here. They also regularly experience night temperatures as low as 9 degrees Celsius, so these temperature ranges are quite attainable in most households. They do, however, enjoy quite a high humidity, but don't stress over chasing numbers of humidity. You'll just drive yourself wild. If you make sure you've got some good comfy moss in with, you'll be grand. Now, you'll find that most Heteropoda are adapted to arboreal lifestyles, so they kind of like to be living at heights. With this in mind, probably want to use an enclosure that's taller than it is wide. So I'm going to be using this 15 by 25 tall acrylic enclosure. Ideally, you'd want something that's front opening, as opposed to this top opening door, but it'll be getting an Exoterra in a mold or two, so I'm not too worried about that. It's just the top opening can be a bit of a pain for fast bolty spiders because they can get out very quickly when you're opening it. Front opening tends not to scare them as much or freak them out. And it's also easier to get in and out with your tools when you're giving food and changing water. I am going to be going bioactive with this build, so I'm going to need a substrate that's able to support that high humidity but also support live plants and moss in here. So for that, I'm going to be using an organic topsoil mix with some cocoa coir substrate put through it as well. That is going to provide nutrients to the plants, and it's also going to allow some of that trapped in water to evaporate out and provide humidity to the enclosure. A lot of people think the way to raise humidity is to spray it. Moisture on the side of enclosures and sprayed water inside the enclosure isn't the same as humidity, and there's quite a big difference to that, which we will maybe actually see about going into some detail in a later video. Ideally, humidity is going to come from moisture being released from your soil, not from just water that's sprayed into the air of your enclosure. Once the substrate's in, it's going to be time to add your background piece. I'm simply going to go with some cork bark pieces that I will layer up on each other. This will ensure the spider has plenty of surface area to climb around, and it always has somewhere to hide. Cork bark is brilliant because it's nice and light and it's mold resistant, which is ideal for this humid setup. Next, I'm going to place some dried sphagnum towards the back of the enclosure and some live moss at the front. With the moss in place, I'm going to take advantage of that and add some plant cuttings into it. With that sphagnum there, they will root in absolutely no time. And before you know it, you'll have nice healthy plants in your enclosure. So I've only really got a couple things to add now. I'm going to add in a water dish to this enclosure. A lot of people like to glue their water dish high up on the cork bark, which is brilliant for these spiders. But because this enclosure is going to be coming away in a molt or two, I'm just going to place it in the bottom. There's a couple of things that will do. It'll mean the spider's always got access to moisture, but also it'll be a perfect place for our springtails to breed. And speaking of springtails, let's add those in now. These little creatures tie it all together, and they're largely what makes it bioactive. And actually, I am going to throw in some leaf litter as well. This will add some hiding places for our springtails, and it will break up the texture a little bit. And there we go, a perfect little mansion for our star-studded spider. From here on, the care is pretty simple. Even a cold house is unlikely to drop below an average of 18 degrees Celsius. so it's unlikely you're going to need to supplement heat in any way for this. And if you're providing enough moisture to keep your plants and your moss alive, then that's going to be enough humidity for the spider to thrive. In terms of feeding, they need a little bit more frequent feedings than your tarantulas, so something like a medium-sized cricket every week or so, maybe sometimes more when they're feeling particularly hungry. And while you're feeding, have a little check of your water bowl. Make sure it's topped up and change the water weekly if you can. Now, I wouldn't recommend trying to handle this species. They are jumpy and they are lightning quick. They are also known to be quite quick to take a wee bite. It's not a nasty bite, but spider bites are rarely pleasant. In terms of activity, it's argued whether these guys are nocturnal or crepuscular. Nocturnal being active at night, crepuscular being active at kind of dawn and dusk. But either way, they're generally not active during the day. So if you want to get to see your spider, a good thing to do is wait until about an hour after lights off, come in, put on a little dim light, and you might see it out wandering around and patrolling its enclosure. If it's out during the day, that could be either that it's looking for a mate or perhaps it needs a little bit more food. So try offering it some food. If it doesn't take it, just take it back out. Now this is an absolutely stunning spider and would be a gem in any collection. If you've enjoyed this video, do me a wee favour and leave a like and subscribe. And did you know I now also have a podcast? So if you're interested in entomology and all these exotic pets, make sure to get a wee listen. You'll find it on this channel, Clanny Critters. It'll likely be in the podcast section, or it'll just be uploaded as a video, and it'll be under the name The Arthropod. So I've got a whole bunch of different topics that I'm going to be introducing. So far I've done a little bit of an introduction to who I am, and the last one was all about do insects feel pain, which I think was a pretty cool subject. So do me a favour and give it a wee listen. But that is us. So thank you guys for watching, and until next time, cheerio and Rasta.